Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dose of Common Sense. And I have one question. If common sense is supposed to be so damn common, why is it that no one has it? And welcome everybody to the Dose of Common Sense for August the 29th, 2017. How y'all doing? It's been a while. We really apologize for being, shall we say, quite a bit delayed. We've had a couple of issues that have popped up over the last couple of weeks. Why am I going into the future for? Welcome to Earth. And we were in the middle of recording a podcast on the 12th of August, the last time that we were going to be in your homes or your ears. And then we had a little bit of an issue. It was called my car got stolen with the equipment on board. But we are now back up and running. I thank you all for your patience. And since we're already on the air, I'm going to have to give my opinion on a few things because quite a bit has actually transpired since we were last together. Number one, Android O has been officially released and named. It is now Oreo, as we probably all knew way back in Google I/O land. And it has got many, many features, including improvements when it comes to audio, video, and also camera capability. Thank God. And then shortly after the official unveiling of Google Oreo, or Android Oreo, we had the Galaxy Note 8 make its appearance. Or I'm sorry, in some of y'all's cases, that would be the Galaxy S8 Plus with an S Pen. Well, I'm kind of along the lines of those same people that actually think that's a Galaxy S8 Plus with an S Pen, and the only reason I happen to say that is because I am not one of those people that are going to pay damn near $1,000 for this phone. I don't care what color it is. I don't care if it's the maple gold. I don't care if it's the blue. I don't care if it's the midnight black or and guys, this is not Orchid Gray. This is the Arctic Silver version that we all saw with the Galaxy S8 Plus. I don't know why they called it Orchid Gray. I personally think whoever chose that color needs to be checked for color blindness. But c'est la vie. I do digress. And we are in IFA week, ladies and gentlemen. IFA week. So be prepared. We may end up doing a daily podcast for a little bit again. Welcome back, everybody. Thank God. Okay, so we're going to get this one out of the way now. It's going to be the Galaxy Note 8. So the Galaxy Note 8 will be released on September the 15th. It was announced on August 23rd. And apparently this thing's going to be a touch bigger than the S8 Plus at 6.3 inches. Of course, it's going to have, and I don't know why, it's got 6 gigs of RAM on board. It's going to have a minimum of 64 gigabytes of storage. And it has a dual camera sensor. I'm a little bit confused on the dual camera sensor because the dual camera sensor is not serving the purpose that it typically serves with smartphones. But I have to get a hold of the camera first and find out how good of photos it has. That was a feature that we were not able to look at when we had a close-up earlier this week. However, it has already managed to get the World's Best Display award by DisplayMate. Yeah. Okay, the phone hasn't even been officially released. It has been announced. Bear in mind, the World's Best Display award, quote unquote, is only by one particular publication, and that publication yeah, let's just say their reputation's not that bad. But I'm kind of curious because we only see this one particular publication come out maybe twice a year at most. And I may be a little bit wrong on this, but not overly wrong on this. So I will believe it when tech outlets start grading its display. From what I understand, the display is pretty much the same one that's on the Galaxy S8 or the Galaxy S8 Plus, except they turned up the brightness. Congratulations. But for those of you who are interested in S Pen, Dale, September 15th will be the official launch date, and it will be available at all 4 carriers. For those of you willing to pay the almost $1,000 price tag. For that price, I'd rather invest in a small car. Given the fact that I still need one because they haven't completely settled out the insurance claim on the stolen one yet. So, next up, of course, Android Oreo. We've already went over that a little bit. I think this is going to be a very good release for Android in general. I just hope that carriers get a hold of it before, let's say, just in time for them to come out with Android Pretzel, perhaps, or Android P. I somehow envision peanut butter sundae for this one. I don't know. I really don't. I kind of wish they would drop the dessert naming altogether. I mean, Android's kind of grown up now. Google's way grown up now. So why don't we just concentrate on that? Concentrate on making your features a little bit better. You've almost reached parity with, and I hate to say this, iOS. Let's just get the rest of the way there. So, we're kind of going to go a little bit here and a little bit there tonight. I'm going to apologize right off the bat. So, the next thing we're going to discuss, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is going to be the new iPhone models. Yes, indeed. iPhone 8, iPhone X, whatever the hell they're going to make out of this one. The models themselves will be unveiled on September the 12th, according to sources. And if that appears to be true, then the release date should be somewhere around the 21st or the 22nd of September, pretty much the same date that it was last year. And according to, of course, you already know this particular part by now, the highest storage capacity for the iPhones, whether it be the 7S, the 7S Plus, or the iPhone 8, holy God, is apparently going to be, wait for it, 512 gigabytes. I'm going to ask one particular question. Why? And I'm starting to see, okay, so Apple came out with one that was 256 last year. I happen to own it. It's the iPhone 7 Plus. So apparently somebody decided that 256 wasn't enough. You show me where 256 gigs. I mean, I swear to God, you would have to at least download every Electronic Arts game, every application that Adobe has, throw in a couple of those stupid-ass $300 apps in the bunch, and you're still going to have about 50 gigs left. So, unless you're planning on literally downloading the Library of Congress, I don't see a need for the 512 gig. But to each his own. I guess it's kind of like the old Apple Watch edition. You kind of want to just do it because you can. So, next up, and I don't go into this often, but it appears to be that the Xiaomi is working on a phone with an 18 by 9 near bezel-less screen. Welcome to the rest of the world. I think LG and Samsung has pretty much beat you. And granted, you might be able to use the new MediaTek processor, which is a ton better than all the other POSs out there that MediaTek used to produce. So I guess we'll just have to wait for that particular working model to actually come up with judgment on that. I don't think I'm going any further on that particular phone. So the next one that I'm going to go into is very essential. It's the essential phone, guys. So apparently, and you'll have to excuse me again, live radio, folks. So apparently, the essential phone is going to be finally shipped. Everybody that pre-ordered them should receive them by the end of August, which is coming up very, very soon. However, even if you buy the unlocked version, there is still one company of effing course that is not supporting the essential phone yet. Wait for it. Yeah, it's Verizon. The big red check is doing the big red duck again. The essential phone has not been certified by Verizon. Who cares? It's unlocked. You should allow it on your network, doofus. However, there are talks that it will soon be certified. Don't hold your breath. I'm going to say the end of September, maybe the end of October before they get around to it. However, the essential phone is still kind of, how shall I say this? The essential phone is still technically finalizing itself. I mean, it's an awesome phone from everything that I've seen with it, except for one particular area or two, and that is being worked on as we speak, so we shall see. We should definitely see how that one goes. I kind of wish Essential the best of luck, because they've come out with a form factor that until the iPhone actually shows up, I'm going with what I can see here. The Essential phone looks absolutely kick-ass. So we'll see what happens. So the next one we're going to go on the thing with here. Tim Cook has offloaded more than $43 million in Apple stock within the last few days, according to the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. He sold approximately 270,000 shares. Actually, it says a little over 268,000 shares. Who cares? Apple is pretty much the richest company on planet Earth as it sits. Their market cap is just a touch under $1 trillion at this point. So, my personal opinion, if Tim Cook wants to sell stock, let Tim Cook sell stock. Welcome to that planet. And, of course, we're going to go to the kind of the Are You High story of the day, at least temporarily. So, of course, as you all know, unless you were living under a rock for the last 6 months, Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor had their fight. And for all those who did not think that it was a 10-round snooze fest from hell, and for all those who, and I really do, I feel bad for all those who paid $99 for the privilege and honor of being absolutely reamed by Showtime and whoever the hell else was involved in this crap. As you well know, there were some people that went and ordered the pay-per-views that were not able to receive the pay-per-views. So now there's been a couple of lawsuits filed against Showtime. Not too many details that are available as of press time. It apparently they were either grainy or completely non-existent, and according to this, Showtime promised 1080p at 60 frames per second, which kind of is not normal, number one, because various studies have been taken on this, and for some odd and unknown reason, usually the best rate to view this particular footage, or any footage for that matter, is usually between 24 and 30 frames a second. Some people do not like 24 to 30 frames per second. That's okay. You know, to each his own. Some people do not like the 60 frames per second. It seems, and this description kind of baffled me a little bit, and then I kind of looked at it on a 4K television, and I understand why now. They said it looked too real. I can kind of understand where they're coming from on this one, because if you ever look at 4K, which is way more pixels than the naked eye can possibly see, I kind of see where they're coming from on this, but as of course everybody should know, progress pretty much rules the day. So, in my personal opinion, you always have one or two people that I can kind of see both sides of the story, but my personal opinion is this. I wasn't the one that paid $99 for a pay-per-view for a reason, actually many of them, but if you did, I kind of feel bad for you, and I kind of don't. Pretty much you just gave, and I'm talking about every single one of you, you pretty much just lined any person that was involved in this fight, you pretty much paid them almost for life. So whether you got it, whether you don't, let's see what happens from this. I honestly don't think this lawsuit's going to go anywhere. So we'll find out. So anyway, next one we're going to have here is going to be somewhat of a sad and relative tone, and there might actually be an explicit tag on this podcast by the time it's over with, and I'm going to tell you why. So, Vector was bought by Fitbit. Pebble was bought by Fitbit. So, it's going to be kind of like this. So, if Pebble and Fitbit or Pebble and Vector were bought by Fitbit, okay, and then Fitbit says they're going to come out with a smartwatch, which technically they already have about 6, except their capabilities were more or less based toward health at the time. Fitbit says, hold on, we're going to make a smartwatch. Okay. And we waited. And we waited. And we waited. And we still waited. And what we got was this. The Fitbit Iconic. God. I don't know how many of you have looked at this watch. In fact, if you haven't, I'm going to give you a minute right now to go ahead and look it up on Google. Just Google Fitbit Iconic and take one look at this watch. And the very first thing that's going to pop into your head is the first absolute piece of hot garbage that Samsung came out with and released with the Note 3, and it's called the Galaxy Gear. I'm sorry, Fitbit. This one, I haven't even felt this watch yet, okay? I don't know what capabilities this watch has. I don't care. And yeah, I'm going to drop this right now. I don't care what this watch does. I don't care unless this thing has Alexa capability or Google Now capability. I don't care. This watch, we waited over a effing year for this pile of junk. This sucks. This looks like, honestly, this looks like somebody took a bunch of Galaxy Gears, they redid the frame a little bit, they redid the display a little bit, and then you come up with this pile of crap. Fitbit, I don't care. Go back to the drawing board. Do something that looks different from everybody else. This sucks. This does not even look anywhere close to what a watch should look like coming from, of all companies, you. You took a great concept started by Pebble. You took another great concept from Vector, and you came up with this pile of trash. No. Guys, do me a favor. Anyone who's looked at a picture of this watch, if this thing comes anywhere within a mile of you guys, turn around and run away. Do not give this watch a second thought. This sucks. Pure and simple. We waited a year for this hot piece of trash. F it. Done. And here's another one of stupid story of the day. This is pretty much called a no-brainer. And given the fact that this came from a Samsung rep is embarrassing. Because this should have already been a given. Samsung is... God, I can't even say it. The Samsung Galaxy Note 8 is expected to absolutely outpace the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. What? Outpace the Note 5? No shit. Really? I'm shocked. Given the fact that you were on pace to outsell the Note 5 when you came out with that nice little piece of goodness called the Note 7. This is no surprise, guys. The Note 8 is probably going to maybe at least 50% higher than the Note 5, and the Note 5 was the very first one that came out with the form factor that pretty much screwed everybody that was involved in the Note to start with. But now that you've added back all the features with the one exception of removable battery, don't come out with this BS statement that we pretty much all know is going to be true. I don't know. I'm not... This is an embarrassing quote. This was a no shit statement, guys. You did not have to say this at all. We all know this is going to outsell the Note 5. We all expect this to outsell the Note 5. If it wasn't going to, why make the phone? Next. So, the Z-Blade, or the, ZTE has come out with a new phone, and it was come out on the 23rd of August, and it was called the Blade Z Max. All I'm going to say on this particular phone is, this is definitely worth a second look, and maybe even a third. It definitely looks like it's going to surpass the Z Max Pro. The build quality may not be up there with the flagship status, but hey, I mean, this thing is, it's got 2 gigs of RAM, it's got at least 32 gigs of storage, and it's got plenty of software support. There should be no reason why this phone does not make the grade. So, if anybody is around Metro PCS, check out the Blade Z Max. It looks to me like it's going to be an awesome phone here. I mean, especially for all you that do not want to pay the $1,000 plus for the Galaxy Note 8, otherwise known as the S8 Plus with an S Pen. Next up is going to be LG. LG indeed. So LG is going to be coming out with their V30, which should be literally announced any day now. In fact, it might even be in the middle of about being announced. No, it's August 31st. Okay. I'm just trying to compute in my head what the 6-hour time difference would be between the States and Europe. Anyway, the V30 is going to have a Hi-Fi quad DAC, and it should be available on all of their phones sold worldwide. If you wonder what that is, that's called me knocking on wood, because I really, really hope so. And according to this, the DAC is actually going to be customizable. So I'm kind of curious to see how this DAC is going to be able to be customized. I know it's going to have an equalizer, and it's probably going to have a couple of other things included, so we'll see what happens when the phone gets announced. I'm kind of looking forward to it. And here's an old story that I need to bring up, like, right now. So Verizon joined reality again earlier this year and reintroduced the unlimited data plan. So Verizon took their one unlimited data plan and divided it into 2. What they failed to mention is either plan you're going to get throttled. You're going to get throttled on video. You're going to get throttled on any kind of streaming method that you get. However, it will probably offer you a way out for an unthrottled one as long as you don't reach their prioritization level. But of course, if you want to get the non-throttled, I'm sure you're going to have to pay for it. Thank you, Verizon. Awesome. Next. So, yeah, let me see here. Okay, for those of you who actually like the Pixel Launcher, apparently there's a way to actually get the Pixel Launcher to work as it exists right now. If you have any questions on where to find this particular article, and this one I'm just getting a load of right now, there is a version of the Pixel Launcher that you can download, and all the features on it will actually work, and you do not have to have an Android Oreo phone in order for this to take place. What I would do is I would go over to PocketNow.com and I would look up Jules Wayne, and or Jules Wan, excuse me. Sorry, Jules. And actually look up Pixel Launcher. You will find this. It actually does work. I am actually using it on the Galaxy S8 Plus. That's because even though you managed to slam down TouchWiz, or whatever you call this now, non-Grace UI, I'm still going to use not your launcher, Samsung. So, welcome to that. And next up is going to be Google. Google will announce the Pixel 2 and the Pixel XL2 on October 5th. The only question that we still have, and I think everybody and their brothers pretty much seen this particular phone, is whether or not this thing is going to carry the Snapdragon 835 or the 836. The 836 is kind of an improved version of 835. It's supposed to handle RAM differently. It's supposed to handle applications differently. And of course, as we all know, this will also carry Android Oreo. So stay tuned for October 5th. On the announced date, we'll all look at it together. If I had my choice on the Pixel XL or the XL2, I would, or Pixel, yeah. The Pixel 2 or the Pixel XL2, I would probably actually go with the Pixel XL2 because the Pixel XL looks like a bezeled monster. Just my opinion. And remember that $1,000 price tag I told you that the Galaxy Note 8 was probably going to have? Well, apparently the Galaxy Note 8 is not going to be the only phone that ends with 8 that's going to be $1,000. That's right. In case you've been living under a rock for the last month and a half, when the iPhone gets announced, it will probably also have a $1,000 plus price tag. I'm going to ask you this particular question because, quite frankly, I'm kind of wondering this, and I wonder what you all are going to think of this. So, here it goes. At what price point does the smartphone buying public and or the smartphone manufacturers decide that they've reached that critical point and they will stop charging so damn much for their phones? I understand that you have to make money, and I understand that you have to account for the marketing dollars that you spent, with the possible exception, of course, of LG, because they don't have marketing, in my opinion. But how much is too much? These phones used to be $599, $699. Then they went to $799. Apple's has pretty much always stayed around the $600 to $800 and then stopped. Until, of course, you came to the iPhone 6S, and then I think that was the only particular point that the top tier was a little over $1,000. So, the iPhone 8 and the Galaxy Note 8 After you pay tax, you're pretty much paying a full $1,000 plus. Okay. How much is too much? How much, at what freaking point do we or they say enough? At what point do we need to stop buying these phones? I think we're there. I think we were there the start of the year, and I think we're here now. I think once you get to the point of $1,000, you're pretty much paying for a night at the Waldorf Astoria, or you're pretty much paying for something that you could make use of better than a smartphone. I'm sorry. I hate to say this. I know I'm going to piss some people off by saying this. I don't care. You get to the point where you start paying over $1,000 for a flippin' phone, you have gone too far. You have gone too far. You went too far at $899. You're at $1,000 plus at this point. After you pay taxes, you're pretty much paying over $1,000 for these phones. Enough. It's too much. I don't care who I'm going to make mad on this. I don't care if it's subsidized. I don't care if you're making payments. I don't care. $1,000 is too much to pay for a phone. End of story. Point blank done. Okay? This crap was supposed to have ended a while back. You know, $499 on contract, $599 on contract. This is where the iPhone started. And if you can, you know, it's going to be $35 a month, irregardless. Okay, fine. You get to that, you're fine. Maybe. You're paying $1,000 for this flipping phone 2 years later. In my personal opinion, you either need to A, cut the margins a little bit. I mean, I don't know how else to put this. You have now reached the limit where you are charging way too much for the same crap, nearly, that was available at the end of 2015. You've reached that point. It is too much. Granted, memories become more. Granted, RAMs become more. But you can buy extra RAM for flipping dollars now. Okay? The extra 2 gigs of RAM are not going to make you or break you. Period. Okay? Honestly, maybe 6 gigs of RAM is way too effing much. I haven't seen a phone yet that's used it. But you are now reaching 4 digits. You have topped yourselves, not only in features, but in price. There needs to become a time where the spending public is pretty much gives you the double tall man and say enough. I mean, yeah. And this is the part where it's a slippery slope game, because you got $1,000 for these flipping things, and you hear some of these other people say, well, they're starting to charge too much. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And the next thing you know, they're publishing 2 flipping YouTube videos and doing God knows how many podcasts on their own channel, by the way. Hey, I not only have 1, I have 2 of these. Look at them. It's no. If you're going to make something, stick with it. I don't care if you got paid by Samsung to show up there or not. It's enough. You need to get to a point where it's enough. $1,000 for a phone. Screw that. I mean, next thing you know, what's it going to be next year? $1,200? It's going to get to the point where people are going to make monthly payments toward their flipping phone is going to pay the same thing that someone that buy. You might as well buy it unlocked. End rant. So, drop me a line if you disagree. Send me a message on Twitter at TechFiles or TechFiles Media. Send me an email, show@techfiles.com. At what point do we say enough of this shit? It's too much. $1,000 for a phone is a little bit too much money, especially given the fact that you can go and get a OnePlus 5 or even a OnePlus 3T at this point. It doesn't matter. You can get just as many features except for the flipping S Pen. Ooh, big shit. You can get that for half the price. Anyway, in rant at that point. I'm getting off of it. Guys, hey, I'm just going to say this. It's great to be back. Sorry it was gone for so long. We can't do podcasting without the proper equipment. So if you have any questions or comments, send me an email, show@techfilesmedia.com. Give me a message on Twitter at TechFiles or TechFilesMedia on Twitter. I thank you for allowing me into your homes, your cars, or your ears. Y'all stay safe, have fun, and by all means, be classy. We will catch you later. Take care, folks.